This show is sponsored by the Comics Shop.
Welcome to Tuesday Chinwag with your host, Leigh Chalker, writer, artist, and creator of the comic series Battle for Buzzle.
G'day, welcome to another episode of Tuesday Chinwag. Now, the show is sponsored by the Comics Shop, and don't forget to go and check out some Australian comic books in there. You can check out that, which releases on Monday as well. So with that, you'll get 4 free PDFs. So dig in and check out the whole Battle for Bustle series. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe Comics. That's the most important thing you can do. That helps spread the algorithm, gets it out to more people, shares the love, grows the tree, that makes the community bigger, and that's good for comics, and it's good for everyone that likes comics. So everyone that hasn't seen the show before, basically Chinwag is who, what, where, when, why, and how. It's a fluid show. We talk about many things, some things comics, some things life, everything in between, you know, like whatever tickles our fancy for the evening. Comments are welcome, so please feel free to send us some comments and some questions. And tonight's guest is a man that I've wanted to talk to for a long time, because I've been aware of him for a long time, and if you haven't been aware of him, you are about to be, because he's keen, he's ready, and you know, look how happy he is there. Don't we like happy people? That's the way, mate. You know, it's so. Everyone, introducing Mr. Hayden Fryer. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. You know, like, look, the circus didn't roll into town today, but, you know, like, I can't complain about the day. It was pretty good. I'm still here. I'm with you. I'm grateful. Things are going all right, man. So
you managed the last day about ending up in solitary?
Oh, yeah. I saved my chat for you today, because I was just telling, for everyone out there, I was just telling Hayden earlier that I was at work today, and you know, sometimes work, you know, can get a little bit, you know, provide you with an itch you can't scratch. So I decided to stay within myself and not talk to too many people today. So I have, you know, I've got the motor running, man, ready for you, and you know, so we can test the motor, because it's humming, it's purring. I'm going to get into the big existential question, Hayden. Are you ready, man? Are you ready to rock and roll? Who?
Pickles.
Right. Okay.
Hey, you set me up for it.
Yeah, I did. I thought you were kidding, but you threw it out there. But look,
I threw it out there. Had to open on it.
Yeah, you did. And look, I commend you on that, man, because it's like no one's done that yet. And
after how many episodes? No one's taken that risk. No one's just throwing pickles straight out there.
Yeah, 50 odd. No one's done that to me yet. So let me
let
me see if I can, you know, like, come back at you now that you've, you know, like, you've given me one that I haven't had. All right, so Hayden Fryer. That's who you are at the moment, and good evening for the
on my passport. Yeah,
on your passport, your driver's license, and everywhere else that's of importance in today's society, all the paperwork, etc.
No, it's really just a pen name. My name's John.
Oh, really? John? Hey, Chalker and Talker. Yeah, all right.
John Pickles.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, like, see, I've got a sneaking suspicion that you're going for the Pickles record here tonight, mate. And nah.
I mean, how many times would you have to say Pickles to really hit that Pickles record? Is anyone actually keeping track of how many times I'm saying Pickles in a conversation about pickles? I really just go on a whole railroad of pickles.
I know. Look, I like pickles as much as the next man, but I think you might have. I think you might have cracked the pickles barometer.
Pickles are pretty great on hamburgers. You can't have a hamburger without a pickle. So.
No, you can't. You can't.
They really do finish off a hamburger.
Yeah, they do. Look, as long as, you know, I'm a vegetarian, so as long as there's no meat products on a hamburger, like, that's okay, mate. You know, like, everything's pretty much plant-based for me these days in my old age.
So it's just pretty much a pickle burger.
I could be a pickle burger, mate, you know, and I've got a sneaking suspicion, Hayden, that you're trying to create a pickle burger here, mate. So, you know, nah, that's good, man. I like it.
No, I should have brought my own pickles, though.
Yeah, you should have. But you've still got time, mate, to go out and get a jar of pickles for the, you know, like for the start of the show. And it's and while I've been getting pickled, thank you to all the comments and everyone's jumping in and driving in with the pickle-a-thon. So I would definitely say that,
it's a Pickle Revolution.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
free the pickles. Free the pickles.
Oh, look, come on. Anyone else out there want to add to the pickles? You know, just the jar, you know, like while we're going, you know, because it's
just crack that jar of pickles right open.
Because now we've
more out. Get across the counter. Pickles everywhere.
I should never have told you that, Hayden. I knew from the second I spoke to you pre-show that you're going to be
So we're
cheeky.
about 6.5 pickles into the stream. How many more pickles can I get into this before 10 minutes?
Yeah, man. 6.5. Is that all? It seems like
no, that was more. The time. That was the time. I wasn't counting pickles.
Oh, okay.
I was tracking pickles back in like 4 pickles back.
Yeah. I was thinking that we already were like had a pallet of pickles like,
it's got to be
rolling in by now, man.
It's a shipping container of pickles at this point. There's just pickles everywhere. You could swim in the damn pickles. This is like what's the name of the duck? Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, yeah. You're going to dive like a bank vault full of pickles, man.
It's going to be ripe after about a week, but, you know, that's a lot of pickles to be diving through. You can probably drown in it, actually.
That's a lot of burgers too, man.
What's pickles? Cucumbers? Cucumbers and vinegar?
I don't know. Sometimes about food, I think, Hayden, that sometimes, you know, you're better off maybe not knowing where some things come from, aren't you? And just, you know, like praying that it's good for you, you know, like, and hoping. So a Pickle Bank, there you go. We could have that absinthe. Yes, I think so. Pickle Bank, there you go, Hayden. Or should I call you John now? You know what I mean? Or Mr. Pickles? Or
it's Mr.
You know,
Pickles.
Mr. Pickles.
We refer to Mr. Pickles from now on.
All right. Well, guess what?
That'll probably stick.
Yeah. I think we're both stuck with pickles now, man. So it's I don't think there's any getting out of that pool, man. And I think we're locked in the bank. I think the shipping container has they're probably calling in a second one. The first one might have been a 20-footer. This one's a 40-footer. They've worked out how to flat pack the pickles now, and you know, we might spend the rest of the show like, you know, unpacking pickles.
Now, if you dehydrate a pickle, what would you have?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure.
You have dehydrated bananas and stuff like that, and like, it's banana chips. Would you be able to dehydrate a pickle?
I don't see why.
The pickle is the vinegar, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. See, I don't know, but I'm sure there's someone out there that has tried, you know, like
this is an experiment we need to get. Is anyone following us got a one of those air fryers that can, you know, create a pickle chip for us and find out?
Yeah. Well, if there's someone out there willing and game enough to create a pickle chip out there in the audience tonight, you know, like, we'll be here for a while. So I think
here we are asking the real questions, the hard questions. You know, we have Australian comics, you know, dedicated Australian comics.
Yeah.
And we're asking about pickle chips.
Yeah. See, this is pickle air fryer. See, there you go.
There we go.
Fryer. There you go, man.
Yeah. That took him a while to get there.
Yeah.
You set these guys up for these things, and look how long it takes them. What are we, 9 minutes in? Is anyone actually keeping track of the amount of times I've said pickles so far?
I don't know. If someone wants to go back and watch the show, or put it in the comments about how many times we've said pickles and the audience has said pickles. I don't think I'm gonna have to have Alex Major back on again sooner rather than later, because he previously held the record of pickles for the show, and he's going to obviously take this as a challenge. You know what I mean?
Oh, he will. I bet he will.
Yeah,
he won't be able to help himself. He'll probably just be throwing pickles all around the place.
I think you'll blow up a pickle if you tried to air fry it, says Red.
Now that sounds like a challenge.
That does sound like a challenge. Look, if anyone out there has an exploding pickle in an air fryer, let us know if anyone's had a bad pickle experiment or a pickle experience or anything, about pickles that, just comes to mind. Like, let us know. It's part of the theme of the show now. Just to let everyone know.
Can you do like call-in things for this, Chinwag? Have a call-in listener? Can you have a call-in listener tell us their pickle story? About how they put up a pickle in the air fryer after listening to us?
They can send their comments in and I'll be happy to read them and we can both interact and stuff. So, yeah, people are always...
photos. I want proof of this pickle chip exploding.
Yeah. Well, there's a challenge for the audience tonight if anyone's willing to accept it. But do you know how the pickles idea came up? Is that I had a cat and her name was Pickles. And I love Pickles. And she was a great friend of mine. And yeah, when I wanted her to be part of Chinwag, and that seemed like the appropriate thing is to like use pickles.
In memory of Pickles?
No, I haven't marinated her, like...
No, in memory. In memory.
Oh, yes. I thought you said...
Marinated. Is that what your mind just goes
to? I've got a jar, like my cat inside.
I want to keep it forever. Nicely marinated, yeah.
Yes, Jeffrey, we probably do need a new safe word, but it's not happening, Jeffrey. It's just that Hayden is a very frisky fellow and cheeky, and I like that, man. He's full of life. But Hayden, on a serious note, no more pickles unless necessary. Who are you for the people out there?
Trying not to say pickles.
Oh, come on, man.
Who? How do you answer who, really? Do you get existential? Do you, you've read my bio, right? I haven't even read my bio. I keep changing my bio.
It's entirely up to you how you answer that, mate. Entirely up to you.
How? I just did.
Okay. Well, everyone out there,
how would you answer how? Who? Sorry, how would you answer who?
I answered
like
it
going
on
to the whole routine of Abbott and Costello or something.
I answered it on the 50th. You could. But I answered it on the 50th episode. So I've answered my who. So now it's up to you to answer who.
How would I answer who? Where would I start with a question like who?
Okay. Well, why don't we start with...
set me off here. Where do I begin? Because obviously, who, what, when, where, how? Was that 6 questions or something that Shane was saying early on?
Yeah.
How do you define who?
Well, how would you define who, Hayden? How would you define who? There you go.
Obviously, yeah, perfect. That's who. I'm here right now talking. Yeah.
Perfect answer. I love it.
Sorry.
Now we know that you're not John, but you are in fact Hayden. So
Hayden is up in the display at the moment, so I got to kind of stick with that one at the moment. So.
Yeah, I know how you feeling, man. Sometimes.
So if you just said Pickles, I could just run with Pickles as a name and just like, oh, I'm a pickle.
So you want to be a cat?
No, just a pickle.
Just a pickle.
For the sake of a pickle.
So now who?
We're going in a direction here. I'm just going to run with it, okay?
Crisis, Hayden. We don't know whether you're John or whether you're a pickle or whether you're a cat. Or what's going on? This is the most unusual who that I've contended with so far. You've got me on the edge of my seat.
Well, it's going to make everything nice and serious for a second then, but you know what? Let's just keep going. Let's just go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. All right. All right.
So who are you, really?
Who am I? Well, I'm
behind
a big
that charade.
Yeah, no, well, okay. I'm a big old stack of skin and bone, mate, full of soul. So, and I'm here having a good time. So it's that's how I would look at myself, like all is one is all, and you got to try and smile, and you got to have a good time. Experiences happen to you, some good, some bad. You don't control these things. You just go with the flow, and try and have a positive intent about everything that happens to you, good or bad, and just learn from the experience. Much like I'm learning tonight, Hayden, about not telling anyone that the safety word is pickles and challenging Alex Major. So there
Just keep
you
in
go.
mind that you've got to keep that safe word in place. Otherwise, things can get really out of control real quick. Like,
Oh man, don't they? What? It's
especially with
like,
Alex around. Yeah, Alex is dangerous that way.
Yeah, he is. It's I can't wait to hear him when I talk to him next about the challenge you've thrown down. All right. So I know. I know a little bit about you, Hayden. I know that you've done a lot of comics in your day, and actually, if we change the safe word, Hayden will no longer be interested in pickles, and then our pickle economy will collapse. I absolutely agree, Shantae. Let's
stockpile all these pickles. It's a speculative market. It's like the 90s. It's like the 90s all over again, man.
Yeah. I wonder if you could.
I've got a shrimp wrap. I've got a shrimp wrap. A shrink wrapped pickle here. It's gonna put my kids through college.
There you go. You know, what do they have for lunch every day? That'll be the next thing. Yeah, pickles. All right, so Hayden, let's go back to little Hayden.
It's a copy of X-Men 1 from like 92, whatever it is. That's what they have to eat.
Oh, yeah.
There's that many copies floating around. You just eat that instead of pickles. So,
well, you could hang on to the pickles, hold on to them, and just eat your comics.
Yeah.
There you go.
Put some pickles on comics.
Oh, pickles on comics. You could have toast.
It's like lettuce, right?
Comics and pickles, like there's lots of things. And for anyone else who's come into this conversation,
paper's made of trees are what we eat. No, it's leaves.
Yeah, I like that. You know, there was a time, Hayden, where I thought I was the only unusual person in the world, and that time has now ended. I found you. And I feel much better about myself not being like this lonely mountain mate. So it's like there's me and there's you. So like we can talk about pickles all day. I think we've established that. That's a record. So mate, let's take us back to little Hayden and where you grew up, where you started, where your first comics were, what got you into it. Hit me.
Well, I was just a little pickle at the time. Okay, fine. I'll keep it serious. Back before the pickle collapse, back in the old days, back when pickles were everywhere. So many pickles. Oh, man. Okay, yep. All right. We'll keep it serious for a bit. Then. I feel like I definitely need a prop here, like a pickle, just sort of wave the pickle around.
Yeah. Okay.
So I started comics back in 2000 and something. 2. What year is it? 24?
2024. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the first issue of Billy came out in 2002, I think, from memory.
Yep. And for people that don't know at home, that was Billy the.
Kick him, boot him, boot him. Boot him on the show.
Yeah, come on now.
Billy Demon Slayer.
Billy Demon Slayer.
Yes. There's no "the" in the title. There's never been a "the" in the title.
Yep.
So yeah. Before that, though, I had a short story it was a teaser for Escape, which is a anthology of Australian creators at the time. Yep. I think it was organised through the Comics Australia forums by Aaron Burgess.
Yeah.
I think from memory that came out in 2001, but I wasn't in the final book. So I'm in the teaser, which is probably my first printed thing. And then, I got dropped from the book, but the art was pretty terrible, so I don't hold it against Aaron.
And that was like the first time you how old were you at that stage, man?
18, somewhere like that.
Yeah. You've been drawing a while. Were you one of those dudes that, creators that was drawing from a young age, or did you start like some people?
I never picked up a pencil before in my life. I just, threw up on the page.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's handy. And just fiddled around with it and, made beautiful.
Yeah, just push some splurges here and there and, make a couple of smiley faces and, that's how it works, right?
Yeah. Man, it's your story. You control the narrative, dude. I'm just here, man. I'm listening. Like,
anyway, once I threw up all those pickles and I sort of positioned them into like grids, suddenly I had a comic. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I was drawing since I was, I don't know.
Well, that would
Yeah, I've got illustrations from like 93, which had been about 10 at the time, I think, or 92. And I know I was drawing stuff before then as a kid, but yeah, I didn't really take it seriously at all. Still haven't. But yeah, it's the age-old story. Yeah, you draw from a kid and just keep drawing.
Yeah. So what when you with the Aussie Forum comic Escape that you were just talking about, and your final story didn't get taken, like put into the comic book.
The art was terrible, and I didn't revise it in time, and I don't feel bad about it because it would have brought down the quality of the book. So just that so technically my first published things in the teaser, but not in the final book. And I think the final book was I think it came out a couple of years later anyway. So, and there is a nice thank you in the front of it. So,
oh, that's good. That's very nice. At least they acknowledged. Yes.
Yeah, but officially,
what did you learn from that? What did you learn from that? Because it obviously didn't stop your
Australian comics are ruthless, man. Absolutely ruthless.
Yeah,
the whole thing's just ruthless. Yeah, totally ruthless.
No,
it's just knives out everywhere.
Oh, mate, like unbelievable. That's why I live up in far North Queensland, mate, so I can stay away from you big city creators. You know what I mean? 'Cause, like, I'm mildly safe up here. Having said that, like I do have people come to my house sometimes to buy comic books, which is odd, but enjoyable. They always bring plenty of
first and just randomly turn up on like a Sunday night at 4 a.m. It's like, here for a comic.
Yeah, no, I've never had anyone turn up at like 4 a.m. Haven't had that. I've had the local.
You're probably missing out. That 4 a.m. comic trade is where it's at.
Yeah, right. That maybe that's what I should be doing, mate. Business open between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. I'm not sure that'd probably bring me the clientele that I was looking at, Hayden, or wishing for. They might be a little bit of the seedy nature, and
I don't know. That clientele is pretty dedicated. There's a whole subculture of people who just love that stuff.
Yeah. This is true. It's like my neighbourhood's a bit tricky though, mate. So it's it's not like a shining light of the local area. So I'm trying to keep my head down, mate. Like bad enough at noon when I'm not wearing a hat. Like half of the people in the street have got to put sunglasses on. And I get a damn 3rd-degree sunburn. So I've got to try and keep a low profile. When we've discovered that you weren't accepted into Escape. Now you've got, I'll be nice with you now. So Billy Demon Slayer, that's my first memory of basically your stuff, man, because
that's Billy an old memory.
Yeah. Well, I've been around, man. I've been collecting Australian comics for a long time, and it's one of the things, I've collected a lot of comics, obviously, in my day, but was always very interested in Australian comics, and just over time, just naturally picked up steam with it, and Billy, I used to see quite a lot. Oh man. Yeah, I did. It's like it's really in my mind ingrained that you were out and about, and with this crazy demon slayer called Billy, and let's was that what no, it was good. I liked it.
What was it about?
I had some dude called Billy, and he was demon slayer. I'm old, man. I've been through drugs and alcohol. Come on now, you're lucky I remember your name, John. So just settle down. It's like that's what the show's for, Hayden. To get bring me back, man. I'm barely.
You're see the other side of Leigh here now.
See, now we've got to who. This is who I am, a shell of myself. But anyway, and I rely on you, John, to help me to drag me back into the this reality that we have. So hit me up with Billy. What was the idea? Where did it all gestate from? What was the story there? Did you have some angst there as a young fella? You wanted to be like the dude from Living Dead or whatever, Evil Dead with the chainsaws and stuff like that, chopping people up. What was the creative process, man?
It was half a lifetime ago.
Now come on. Come on, mate. Yeah.
It was usually half a lifetime ago.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I don't know what your creative process is, Hayden. It's like
I don't know what process is. She just appears.
it just appears. All right, so
Yeah,
there we go. I can start with
I hire
that.
a bunch of people just to do some work for me and just stick my name to it.
Okay, all right. So anyone out there
Hayden
wants
Fryer
to...
is just a group name. It's a whole bunch of pickles just working around
All
the
right,
background.
so it really is John. Okay, so we're okay. The haystack is forming. So
Obviously, I'm a big fan of Evil Dead, and you've got one chainsaw, 2 chainsaws, and voila.
Yeah. And
Was
what
it
did
meant to
you
be
have?
more than that? Like that was all I needed to get started.
No, that's cool. I like that. So that was obviously, like something that motivated you when you were a young fella, and you had your opportunity, and you went with Billy, and you just wanted to homage and like do some cool stuff, and draw and chopping things up.
I wasn't actually meant to draw it. Yeah, I wasn't actually meant to draw it originally. So there was another artist, Biz.
Yeah.
He was doing some work in the late 90s called Street Knowledge and Smooth. I think it was railroad or changed into.
Yep.
And he was the originally he was on board to be the artist of the story, and I was going to do the script, and he was going to draw it, and then he ended up bailing out, and I ended up drawing instead. And that's where it all damn well started. So you can blame him.
Yeah, no, it's good. We will blame him, but we'll give him hugs because you're still going, mate, and you're kicking butt. So that's the main thing. And you're here on Chinwag, and like we're slowly pushing through.
24 years later, I'm here talking about pickles on a Tuesday night.
Yeah,
man, just living the life.
Hey, mate, don't you love reality? And who would have thought? Did you ever made a wish when you were younger and thought I'd like to be on a show called Chinwag talking pickles with some dude? You know what I mean? And talking serious comics. You didn't, did you? But see, wishes it's just come true, mate. So
I just peaked right here.
I know, and the best part is, Hayden, you're on camera while you're peaking, mate. So you'll never be able to erase it, mate.
I've never been on camera while I'm tripping, so.
Okay, that might be a pickles moment, but anyway, I'm willing to have a go at that. So let's plow on through.
No, there is actually footage of me tripping over.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad. Oh, goodness gracious me!
I like everyone just go that direction. Yeah, why not? No, I literally I'm on film, just hitting the ground and just straight over.
Oh, dude, there's footage of me. All over the shop, but we won't get into that.
Really?
Yes, there is. It's bloody.
What do I have to Google for this again?
No. Good evening, Dave Dyke. No, you can't find any of it on Google. So let's. I'm going to call that. Yeah, you've got the other monitor over there. Don't worry about this. Have a look at my pickles moments out there. So Billy's come. How many issues did you get through with Billy? Because it was going for a while.
There's 5 issues in the first series, and then there's 7 in the second, I think, from memory.
Yeah.
There's also it was like a 4-page intro on the first one in the trade, and then there's a prequel story of like 12 pages or something in the second series, and then there's obviously a couple of crossovers as well. So,
wowzers! Who'd you cross over with?
Originally it was Rachel McLaughlin's Red. So it's Billy vs. Red, which came out in like, I don't know, 09 maybe. And then there's the Onslaught series. There's the Onslaught series. And then there's the Hunt featuring, well, you haven't read The Hunt, have you?
No, I haven't read The Hunt. But I'm waiting with bated breath, man.
I haven't read The Hunt.
No.
You're a fan of Australian comics and you haven't read The Hunt?
No, well, look, man, there's only one
of
me.
It's the greatest Australian crossover ever.
Excellent. I'll take your word for it. Well, sell it to the world, man.
I can't. It's out of stock.
You're a cheeky man.
I think there might be a couple of copies floating around the aftermarket. It probably just went up in value.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
But
cool.
It's the all-out brawl between Billy and Killaroo, featuring Madison from Rock Salt and a special guest appearance from Trevor of Greener Pastures.
Wow. Wow, there
Drawn
you go.
by Ryan Wilton as well. And he
There you
absolutely
go.
kicks fucking ass with the art.
Yeah, nice. Nice. And how'd that go? Like that went well?
Yeah. 10 years in the making.
10 years. Hey, man, you know, like Rome
I
was
think
built.
it's the only unofficial Killaroo story out there that's not officially official, but is official. It's a real questionable spot in the scene, I believe.
Oh, right. Okay. I wonder I wonder if somewhere around the traps, you know, like someone out there in the audience would be able to let us know if they have a copy of the hunt out there and see what's happening. But if not, I'm glad. We should look for it. We can. Where do you think they'd find it? In the comic shop, secondhand, or you know, on eBay, possibly? You know what I mean? Sometimes
Actually, I think I'm pretty sure it's up online, like Google Drive. So if you go to my site, I'm pretty sure there's a link into the Billy section.
Yeah.
So
All right.
you can find it digitally. You can find it. It's not impossible to find. Hardcover, physical copies, yeah, that's a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where they're all now. I've only got a couple of copies left myself.
Yeah.
Actually, Ryan's probably sitting on a few. So if you hit him up, he might be able to ship you one. But
yeah. Okay. Well, everyone out there, just go and bombard poor Ryan just with random messages if you want the hunt. So you know, why not? Let's have some fun.
If you need to fill out your Killaroo collection, you need the hunt.
There you go. All right, said by Hayden. I do like having fun, Hayden. This is good tonight. It's like got some nice high energy and stuff, man. And sometimes chinwags can get a little bit serious, you know what I mean? But you know, I like coming in with no expectations as to what the show is going to be about, and tonight's good, man. So it's fun, and that's the main thing. Because without fun, man, you know, what's the point of it all? Hey,
without fun, you're just a pickle.
That's exactly right, mate. And who wants to be a pickle with no fun? So
Exactly.
you know, it's you could end up like one of those air fried ones, hey, all exploded
exploding everywhere.
Yeah. You keep going. You keep going with pickles, mate, and I'll add to Billy. So just chill out. We'll meet. We'll meet.
How do I quit this thing again? I think my internet just dropped out.
Oh, yeah. That's all right. I'll take the show over for a while, mate. You know what I mean? So, anyway, we've got a comment here from ANC Thomas, and I apologise to everyone whose comments that I have missed. I've been enthralled with Hayden. He's very cheeky, as you can tell. Hayden, how did you make the jump from Billy Demon Slayer? And what came next?
What did come next? I think it was trash. I think the next thing was Nothing Serious, which is absolute trash.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like I need someone else here to bounce off on this stuff. So Nothing Serious was a collection of 24-hour challenges from like 05 to 10 or something. Yep. So you know what the 24-hour challenge was?
I do know what the 24-hour challenge is, yes.
So a friend of mine, Guy and myself, teamed up for a few years in a row and got very, very, very caffeinated, and then did a sort of like a stream of conscious series of stories with us as the leads. And just, it was absolute crap, like absolutely crap. But it's also one of those things where I could hand someone a copy of the trade and tell them, look, if you don't laugh, don't buy it. They'd flick through and be chuckling after a few pages. So it's absolute trash, but it was fun and sort of no holds barred. There's a lot of random crap in there.
Yeah, but that's you know, you got to have fun, man. That's what we were just talking about. Even like in this, you know, like that's what comics and creativity is about too. If you take a lot of the fun away, you know, like there's not much point being angry or miserable about things, man. With so the 24 for anyone else that doesn't know,
no, there was no one. There was a full moon. Completely forget about that. So it was a short one-off story of a couple dealing with a werewolf in the Cambrian mountains. So tonally, I got a habit of swinging between styles and approaches. So I think Full Moon, I'm pretty sure, was between Billy season 1 and 2. I think Nothing Serious might have fallen in there as well. So from that, I think it was probably a bunch of short stories, and then probably Darkest Night at that point, I think.
So you're pretty prolific at this point. Now we're getting into the crux of it, you know, like. Thanks. The 24-hour challenge makes sense. Ian C. Thomas, thank you for your comments, mate.
Also, Ian is fantastic, and thank you. Ian, for everything you've done over the years. Every single trade I've put out, I think bar 1 or 2, Ian's done fantastic introductions in all of them. And yeah, can never thank him enough. And his music, I'm going to totally fuck up the name of the album, but if you look up Busker's Dog on Bandcamp, here's a plug. The music's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So it's Busker's Dog on Bandcamp.
Okay, all right. Everyone go and check out Ian's album. There's on Bandcamp. There you go. It's Ian. If you want to chuck a comment up with it there, mate, we can put it up across the bottom in case people want to check that out. Always happy to plug creativity, man. You know. So for anyone out there that doesn't know, the 24-hour comic challenge is basically you create a comic book in 24 hours, and you know, anyone can try, anyone can do it, as far as I know, at different times. I don't know. Is there a specific date for it, or is it one of those things you just do? I can't remember. I've never done one. I
don't know if it's still running. There was an official date overseas where everyone was doing it around September or something, I think, something like that. But in Australia, we're doing it over the Queen's birthday long weekend. Gotcha. And it was running pretty consistently through the Pulp Faction forums. Rest their soul. I couldn't think of the years, but I think it was brought back a couple of years after the fact. I can't even think of who was running it at the time now. So it's been a while since it's been run locally, at least. But it used to be fantastic, and the community at the time was great. Like you could spend the entire weekend, and people would be starting from like Friday through to Sunday night, and sort of going through to Monday, and everyone be keeping everyone else in high spirits on the forums. So it's probably one of the high points of the community, to be honest. Like I think it's a few times we're seeing
down that path. Tell us about that period of time. I'm always interested in this sort of stuff.
I was so drunk during that period, I have no idea. It was like my 20s, man. It's all just blur.
Yeah. But you were mentioning that everyone was
super low. That's a great frame to just stuck on. I believe we're having technical difficulties. Is that me? Hey, cool. We are still live. Hello, world. It's the Hayden Show. All right. Since I'm currently handling the whole thing myself,
I will jump in and help you out.
Oh, hello. I was going to get my copy of War and Peace and just start reciting it.
Oh, nice. No, now that Leigh's gone. Oh, okay. Yeah. He's maybe lost internet. I don't know. He's not replying to anything, so I don't know where he is. So, Hayden, apart from this pickle obsession, how are you going tonight? Well, I just looked up the hunt and I can't find it anywhere.
Really?
And I'm trying to.
There's actually a link on my Cyprian Productions site. So
I'm for the physical copy.
A physical copy?
Yeah, I've been looking for a physical copy since you said it, because I'm like, I need this in my collection. So
yeah. Drop
I started collecting like 3 years ago.
If you get in contact with Drop Bear Comics, I know Jay's got a couple of copies and they're signed.
Yes. Oh,
so I think he's on Instagram, Drop Bear Comics.
Yeah, I'm like writing that down so I don't forget it.
I don't know if Darren
doing this live.
Copies,
this is the best time to do it. Yet live. Find out where to buy someone's comic instead of do the show. Okay, what would Leigh do?
I'm
the button pusher. I will just continue what you're telling about yourself. Where were we before? I can't remember where you were at before Leigh
Neither can I.
disappeared. Yeah.
This whole short-term memory thing is just terrible. Where was I? Who am I? Who am I? Really? Who am I?
Well, we could go to some things. Tell us about the. Oh, here we go. Tell us. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Tell us about the 24-hour comic. Getting all flustered.
So we went to the Space Plaza to get space avocados for our girlfriends, and then got into a fight with the botch and blew up the Space Plaza. I think that's the first one. And then the second one, I don't know. It's got something to do with coffee. Coffee pops up a lot. I think we even pick a fight with the coffee god in there at some point. And then we blow up a bunch of stuff. Probably
don't mess with the coffee god, man. Don't mess with the coffee god.
Man, I actually, yeah. There's a lot of random shit in there. You can probably still find the comics online, actually. I think if the Pulp Faction forums are still archived, I'm pretty sure the link should be still active. Maybe. No, maybe I deleted the files that will link to it.
Well, I won't try to check while this is
anyway.
Going on. Hang on. Leigh's. Oh, his internet's gone. Oh, let's see if I can.
Too many pickles. What a pickle. He's absolutely
saying more pickles than you will be saying pickles. So, yeah, you've overloaded it. Well, we've got Ian's link here. I'll put that up so everyone can see that.
There we go.
So it's buskersdog.bandcamp.com. So get some excellent tunes there.
I think the album's called Sea to City, or is it Sea to Sea?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
The album's, is it Sea to City or City to Sea, the album? I always get it back to front.
I don't know. And we've got something, I don't understand. Oh, yeah, that's the technical issues. Yeah.
So Full Name was the short one-off comic I did back in like 2000.
Oh, okay. I thought it was referring to Leigh then. Okay. Oh, he's back.
Lee's in the background doing a Full Moon, is he?
Yeah, he's back, so I can stop panicking now. We'll put it on the right side.
He's back. He's back.
I will leave.
The man, the mystery, the master. No, wait, look at that back in front.
The beauties of live streams, mate. Hey, how's that for you? Did everyone miss me? All right, I'm back anyway. So apologies. And
well, it was a wonderful stream. It was a wonderful stream. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Help me, we covered everything I've done so far.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'm not required. We'll get Shane back on, and I'll duck off and make another cuppa. And I don't know what happened.
I'll see you in 20 years.
Yeah. No, the apologies, man. I don't know what happened there, but these things happen. So hell no, Shane reckons. It's like, it's all right, Shane. You know, I just want to keep you on your toes there, mate. You can blame the internety webby things around this joint. It's not the first time we've ever come across that. All right, so where we were at now, man. I'm going to get straight into the crux of it too, because I want to talk to you about your artwork, because I do have a look at a lot of your artwork that you post up on. Particularly your pages and your sketches and things like that, and your videos that you set up, and like showing people your quick takes on your pages and things. You have an unusual process to me. Like I like the smudging thing. I'm noticing that you in particular there was an image of a lady standing near a lake type thing, and there were trees all around it and things, but the image came through after the smudges. So you started with the smudges, and that just made me think. I was watching and I was like, I guess
were they plant smudges, or was just me just smudging?
Plant smudges. They ended up being plants. So the one thing that I'm always interested in is because from Billy to where you are now, right? I think there's been a massive leap in what you're doing, man, in terms of like your ability. All right.
Yeah. So, every series I've done has been there's been a shifting art style each time.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, you were mentioning that earlier, and so that's where I'm coming at. Like, you said you're consciously changing styles and things like that, you know, like was it to suit the story, or was it just something you wanted to do and the story comes around the changing of art styles, or what's your process?
After Darkest Night, I realized I had to probably go from ground back up again and relearn how to draw, because I realized I was going down a rabbit hole of really rubbery proportions, and I still kept that in COBBER, but the it's been much more a conscious choice on each book of doing something different, and because everything takes so long to do as well, like I'll get stuck drawing that way for the length of a project, and even during a project, you'll see I'll start in one style and then it'll shift throughout the book, and gradually you'll notice that, you know, I'll learn how to draw. I'll learn how to draw essentially.
Well, you're never learning, I guess, man. You know, like
it'll like the characters will they'll find a groove after a few issues in or something like that, or there'll be idiosyncrasies in way of doing something, and I'll go down a path as more pronounced as the series progresses. So I think Billy's probably the clearest, obvious one. So where I started in issue 1 to issue 5, I was a little much more clean line cartoony by 5.
Yep.
Coming back into it for series 2, it was a lot more cartoony, and then got a lot heavier with the blacks. And then I was playing more of more abstract shapes by the end of it.
Yep.
And then with Darkest Night, I was heavily focusing more on the character dynamics. So there was a lot less action, because it was 3 characters essentially going through life. It was more of a slice of life thing, but I was still drawing in that same cartoonish style or animated style.
Yep.
And the everything was sort of more rubbery but more defined. And then after that, I realized, okay, I've really got to relearn how to draw essentially. And then I hit a point at the start of the series where I'm like focusing on trying to get things right. The second issue is usually where it starts to mesh properly, and then I'll just be getting the shits of it, something severe, and then just push myself to finish it. Yeah. So by the end of the series, everything just gets looser, rougher, and less defined. And you can probably really see that in COBBER, where everyone's character, like everyone's figure work, just gets more blown out or more rubbery or more less consistent. So
with taking you back to like when I want to, you know, I'm going to learn to draw again. Like, what did you consciously do to make yourself, like, I guess, better, you know, like within yourself, feel more confident? Like, did you go to life drawing, or did you start looking at books a bit closer, or, you know, looking at people walking around the street? What was your like thought processing there?
Yeah, doing the whole thing of, you know, looking at anatomy books, doing some life drawing classes. But the problem with the life drawing classes is the fixed poses, and it's usually pretty generic poses the whole time. So you can work out, you know, you get more stuff with form and figure work. But then if you're doing a comic, like, you've got to know how to draw something in any position, any movement, any shot you can think of, essentially. And you've got to be able to draw everything else in the scene to go with that too. It's something I always sort of clash with personally. So it's the idea between a representational shape of what you're drawing and then the actual shape that it is. And I always start one swing and then end up in the other swing, and then somewhere it muddies up in between. So I think at that point during Darkest Night, I realized I didn't know how to draw a lot of things, or I had to relearn how to do perspective, and I still don't have perspective down at all. And the realization I had to draw, you know, I think Caleb was sitting in his office space, or he was at home, and I had to decorate the home with fixtures and fittings and stuff like that to try to make it feel more lived in. And I realized I had to learn how to draw that sort of stuff. And then, Darkest Night was a bit of a massive learning curve in that regard. Not even taking into account the story stuff, which is a whole other conversation completely. So with that progression between the different projects, and then working out, realizing how to draw different things, I sort of had to go back and basics on each one and then start fresh again. So, and so did you like
do heaps of sketching before, or are you like on the page that you're doing, and then, you know, like trying to get the comic book pages done, and then realize?
Normally I'll do a couple of short stories, testing out a style and sort of approach or something. Get an idea of which direction to go to, and then once I actually start on the project, everything just seems to fall out of it naturally, I guess. I'll start picking ways of rendering something, or I'll look at how to present something, or which pens I'm using, or brushes, or whatever tool I'm using to get a certain effect. And it all just sort of grows more naturally out of it, whatever I'm doing on the page.
No, that's a cool way of doing it. Just organic, really, with the story that like progresses. Man, what the smudging idea for the trees, man, like that I liked the way that you did that first. And then, like, because I was thinking to myself, like in that image, I was like, where's he going with this? You know, like, and you caught me.
Just to clarify, I have no idea which one you're talking about because there's like 2,000 damn sketches.
Yeah, right. It was just recent. Like, it's, look, man, maybe in the last month or so that I've seen it. And, but what I'm getting at is there were smudges, and then you created the image forward towards the, you know, like out, like in a perspective type way, like you created the female figure and stuff, like after you'd done like it seemed to me that you had like some real intent with the smudges, like you knew where they were going. It wasn't just random like and like Mr. Squiggle sort of stuff, you know, like it looked like
kind of is. Yeah, that whole art style is a happy accident. So I'm usually using, if I'm building up a page, or if I'm building up an image, you'll usually see some sort of pencil lines down where I've just blocked in some rough shapes or an idea. Yeah. But a lot of times I'm using some sort of reference for the sketch. So I'll find something on Instagram, online, a friend will post something, or I'll use some sort of reference material for it to start from, and I'll usually have that sort of next to it, and I'll use that as a guiding line and then just see where it goes from there, essentially. So most of those are happy accidents, and it's like there's a technique of putting the brush lines down, but then how they come out swaps and changes every time. And it's very much not consistent at all, although it seems to after a period, but the intent's really not. So every time I spend a few months not doing any, I'll completely forget how I draw faces or an eye, or what strokes I'll put down for a face or a chin or something like that. So
how often do you draw?
Waxes and wanes. Sometimes I'll just do a nightcap before I go to crash out, or if I'm ordering pizza in the weekend, it's the token pizza sketch. So the waiting on pizza 15-minute sketch.
Yeah, right. Okay, no, that's cool because it's I do like your sketches when you do put random.
I think the smudging you're talking about is probably the sponge, isn't it?
Yes, it is the sponge. Yeah. A Yuletide Flame.
Yeah. So that was my last comic that I self-published back in December.
Yep.
Was there a question to follow that up with, or was it just a case of?
No, not from Ian. No, I was just reading Ian's comments there. I was actually thinking, like, was the Yuletide Flame the name of the picture? Oh, it left me a little bit like, okay, so.
So the
Yuletide Flame.
Sorry.
Tell us about the Yuletide Flame.
It's a Christmas ghost story. Very sappy. Yeah. Very sappy. Very sappy. Yeah.
All right. So what brought that out in you?
Just wanted to do a ghost story, and then I had a timeline to get something done, and there's a whole thing of Christmas ghost stories that's very traditional in the Victorian sense. Everyone knows A Christmas Carol, so I was looking for something that would resonate a little more thematically with the season, but it wasn't the tokenized version of the season that we're used to now. So I was kind of looking for something that acknowledges the sappiness, I guess. There was a whole thought process on it, but it's also a year ago where I cracked it. So I'm like, I'm a little bit removed from it now. So it kind of exists, and
So, okay, from that, what I'm picking up to is like once you've formulated an idea, you work on it, you find like you feel like you work on your weaknesses for that, and you get an idea of like what style you want to go with and what's tickling your fancy in terms of an art process at that stage and style, and then you just bang into like the work, and you're focusing on it, and you go a little bit slow until you find your feet, and then by the second issue you're humming with this like new style, and then you get to a point where it's like I'm really in the zone, and you through it, and then you put it away, and then you let it go, and that's how you. Like,
well, that in the zone part is I'm so fucking done with this. I just want it done. That line between I'm totally the zone on this to fucking just will not end. Can I swear? I've been swearing so much.
You have been. It's like it doesn't matter. Like it's okay. This is an unusual episode, man. So it's like it's fine, man.
Maybe I should just be saying pickles instead of fuck.
Yeah. Well, let's not say that as often as we did the pickles word, and that we should be all right. So like
Fucking A.
that come on now, come on, or I'll put that after Billy. I'll tell. Come on, with me.
Do you want to get booted again? You really want to get booted again, don't you?
No, I booted myself, mate. So it's or like the internet webby gods did. Like God knows what happened there. But I like that idea that you can just jettison these ideas, man, because like I can't, like I carry them around in my head forever, man. Like it's
yeah,
it's like a compartmentalized, like like section of my mind, man, where I'm constantly walking around in a comic book days, you know what I mean, full of stories and chastising myself about I could have done that better, even though I did that 4 years ago.
I find it's easier just to, once I'm in the zone to do something and actually get started on it, I end up becoming pretty focused on it the entire time.
Yeah.
So having once it's actually done and on paper and on exists, I can just let go of it at that point. So I don't have to stop. I can stop worrying about it or thinking about it or thinking, down different paths or trying to wrap something up or whatever else it is, which makes it hard to come back to something later on as well. So like I had to, when Bristlemouth was finished, it was actually finished a couple of years back, and I was picked up last year by IPI, and it was released in the last 4 months. I had to come back and do some edits, some extra pages, just to sort of tidy up for print, and then revise it all. And then I had to sort of get my head, because I'd done a Utide Flame afterwards. I had to come back into this, try and find the same headspace I was in at the time for Bristlemouth to get the voices right, I guess, essentially. And I know once it's in print, I pretty much just, I'm done. Let it go. And I think Billy's probably the only character I've actually gone back to over the years and still managed to find the same voice again.
Yeah, well, I suppose that might be, like your first creation, I suppose, is your love, isn't it? You know what I mean? And you're never far away.
He's a smart ass, so it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, like you may gravitate towards that, mate, and Billy's probably a little, as we've, said tonight, like a bit cheeky. So, like, and that's okay. Like with
on that topic, there was a woman who ran into me constantly at conventions. Didn't matter how many times I introduced myself, she'd remember me as Billy. Just Billy.
Just Billy.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It's like I could tell my name's Hayden. Just like Billy. I'm like, okay, all right. I'll just answer that then. Fine.
Well, this might be part of the existential crisis we were having earlier, mate. John, Hayden, Billy. You know what I mean? Like YULETIDE might be the next one. You know what I mean? Like you might get all sorts of names, mate. Like as long as they're pleasant. So, hello, Naughty Assad. How are you? Nice to see you again. I do because I hadn't seen look, I like to draw, so just for the moment, and I write, like obviously, but So
is that your mood board behind you, or is that a project?
No, they are projects. They're reference material from previous issues, because I got fed up with opening up comic books and having my pages up and everything. So when I get them scanned, I do a A4 photocopy, and anything I'm working on goes up in a section, like the previous issue or character images and stuff, and I can just look and see what's happening, because I'm a bit like you. For me, inking, I spend a lot of time inking. I like inking. That's my painting. But my pencils are quick. I do really like my. I'll show it. Basically, man, not being, but you'll understand. Like that image there is like 10 or 15 minute sketch, and that's about as detailed as my pencils get. So when I sit down to pencil on an A3 page, I like everything there. If I'm not, I don't want to be unsure and stopping and that, because I just flow, man, and then I'll come back to it and fix everything up with the inking. Is basically how I rock and roll. So that's in a similar sort of sense, that's where I jettison everything, you know what I mean? Like, and then come back later with the inking. The inking's the enjoyable part for me. Oh man, the pencils and spending days like laying out panels and then going back and making sure they work and because I've been spending the last week or so laying out comics in notepads. I have little little school notepads, and each comic has its own one. So I do, I can sit there and does that make sense? And you act and carry on, or like I do anyway. I jump around.
How detailed are those thumbnails? Are they just essentially just scratches, or are they?
Well, I will show you.
I've been curious about. Yeah, I've been curious about that. Like if you look at different artists' thumbnails, like mine. Yeah, I've shown my thumbnails to other people, and like you can't decipher anything out of them. Yeah, okay, so you can read the action in there pretty easily, and the forms and the figure work. Yeah.
So I leave myself little notes for scripting ideas and bits and bobs as well. So it's I don't
actually,
know.
if anyone has a copy of Yuletide Flame, I think my thumbnails are in the back of that.
Yeah.
See how scratchy it is. I don't think there's anything in here.
As long as the person creating the comic book can read the thumbnails, man, but some don't you hate it when you get back and go, what the hell was I thinking?
I did have that. So I think it was Darkest Night when I was doing that originally. I scripted. How far was script? Once I cracked the story, I think I scripted up to somewhere around issue 2 from memory. And then everything after that was literally just thumbnails in a sketchbook. Yeah. So there's about, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 pages of that entire last section. It's just a series of thumbnails at about, where are we screen-wise? So, if you got like an A5 book, which there's nothing written on that, it's too personal. So if you've got an A5 book, for example, where are you? Here? Yep. There was about, I don't know, maybe 9 or something pages thumbnailed on that. Hey, he's gone again.
No, I'm here. It's just Shane opened the screen up there. So don't panic. Don't panic, mate. Yeah, it's all yours. I'm going to go make a cuppa. Catch you in half hour.
Should I start snoring now or later?
Give it 5. I'll try and hurry the kettle along.
Do you believe there's actually no thumbnails in this damn sketchbook?
Oh, that's always the way. Hey? Always the way.
Yeah, I started doing my loose sheets when I started working on COBBER, I think it was. So didn't really use these apart from just doing scratches.
Do you have so obviously your process of getting the work started is different every time? Like you're not just doing thumbnails, you're doing scripts, and then you said you did, then you put the script aside, did thumbnails, and so you would come back and done the Marvel way, like with what you knew was happening, sort of thing. You obviously had the script in your mind.
It's a bit of a mixed bag. So Billy, I had complete scripts for the first 5 issues, and then I didn't pay attention to the scripts, I think from issue 2 or something. So 3, 4, and 5 just went in their own direction. I think series 2 was thumbnailed. I don't think there's any scripts at all for that. So I was breaking down the action and thumbnails and then doing the dialogue afterwards. Darkest Night, I had a loose beat sheet that I think was just some rough breakdowns. I did a semi-script up until issue 2, whatever it was, I think I said earlier. Then the rest of that was just thumbnailed, and then dialogue posted done afterwards to try and tidy it all up and wrap it all back up together. COBBER had a full script, but then because we'd revised that as we were working, so COBBER was actually developed with 2 other people, so Chris Charlton and Matt Curry. I ended up doing the script in the comic, and then they were going to work on a film version at some point. I think Matt's done a film script for it, so it's up to them to sort of finish that part of the whole deal. But the comic that exists was my first pass on the script, and then we edited it together and sort of progressed it together as I was working through it. And I think issue 4 or something. I think issue 4 was its own thing, and that whole section doesn't really appear in the script. And then I had to go back to the script for issue 5. And for context, issue 5, where there's a big gunfight through the town, all the staging, all this backwards and forwards going on, and the script just said cue gunfight.
Oh, and you had fun. It's like
yeah, I had to work it out on the page, and then because I had so many spinning plates at the time, like I think that issue probably went a little underappreciated when people were reading it because I went into it sort of blind. I knew how I ended it, but I knew I had to get to a certain point and then had to zigzag through it all.
Yeah.
So the fact that if it does work, it's probably amazing that it works. If it doesn't work, that's probably the reason why. And then, Bristlemouth was probably the same thing. I had a script that went through a few different stages, and then actually it's probably pretty close to the script. I think with Bristlemouth, if anyone's read it, there's a camp scene in issue 2. Yeah, it's issue 2 where all the friends are in the camp, and there's a conversation that blows out and explodes, and that's pretty much a beat sheet on the script. There's nothing really defined with the actual dialogue. It's just more of a mood and direction, and then I just sort of break it down in the thumbnails and then come back in with the dialogue over the fact afterwards to try and get everything to work. So,
yeah,
and then
cool.
the Utide Flame, I think there's a 3-page script which essentially became 28 pages of artistry.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, so you are organic on these things. So obviously you just basic format of an idea, and then you just allow your creativity just to take over if you so feel at that particular point in time. Yeah, I think that's great, man. I love it. Shianche, I struggle with thumbnails. I could never make out what they were supposed to be when I go back later. Yeah, guilty of that, mate. So don't stress about that too much.
That's the thing I was curious about. Like I've seen, like my own thumbnails. I've gone back to years later, and some of them I can read clearly still, and some of them like, what the fuck is that? What is that scribble? Is that a face? Is that a smiley face? Why is there a smiley face at this page? But then I've seen other people's ones where it's like it's super detailed, and it's like they've just drawn the page as a thumbnail, and then the final page is literally just an elaboration on that. So I
spend the tricky part for me is like the thumbnails, because I like to make sure it's flowing and moving, and like each panel's working and perspectives and stuff, and I can spend many days on a comic book doing it, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes I can flow. It's like, like, and other times I hit a wall and I have to go back and, like, I've talked to the other guys that do the comic shows and that at varying times. And if I do stupid stuff to find like angles, because I don't tend to take references. Like I'll go and take photos of myself doing things or jumping off like a chair to try and get images, and just like I basically act out certain things, you know what I mean, like in the confines of the studio. And I think everyone does that. Yeah, I've been known to go down to the park and sit there with the dogs, man, and camera, like at ready just for that one moment where someone, like, you wait there for an hour sometimes before someone does something that you go, oh, you know what I mean? That's sort of what I'm thinking. The cops get called. You have to explain why you got so many photos of someone. Yeah, well, I mean, like it's. I carry a cane with me as well, and just say that Lloyd's my helping dog. So it's there's ways around that, Hayden. So no, I don't really, but I do. Like to walk around. I go for walks and take the dogs, obviously, but I observe a lot of things, man, and just take references from that. But yeah, that's my tricky part. I have scripts, initial scripts, synopsis type things, but they're more foundational points with ideas of dialogue that, as I'm doing the thumbnails, grow, and as I'm doing the pencils, like I'm constantly evolving. Like you, this issue will be different to the last issue, as was different to the previous one. So I'm like you, man. I haven't really settled on a particular.
Yeah, like I've heard a lot of people going through different processes where it's like they'll have the breakdown cards with the different beats, and they'll shuffle them all around to try and tell a story, or someone will just go in completely blind on something and just let it evolve on the page. And like, I'm more of a structuralist. So as long as I've got an idea on where I'm starting, where I'm going, and what I need to weave through, I can sort of navigate my way through it all. But yeah, it's like, the process people go through it's definitely a look into how they think sometimes, and how maniacal it can be. But then that maniacalism just sort of forms itself on the page eventually. So
yeah, well, that's yeah, it does, man. Because I always I always used to stress, mate, about the process. You know what I mean? I was reading books back in the day of what's the right process, I should do it this way, I should do it that way. And then years ago, when I decided, like many years ago now, when I decided to start Battle for Bustle, I just put everything down and just went, okay, man, like there's about as much knowledge as you can get up to that point.
Yeah.
You know, like I've got to feel it, you know what I mean, and feel my way through.
The best way of learning something is by doing it, and then you're going to experiment and evolve as you're doing it. So
yeah. And it took a lot of mistakes, man. Do you know what I mean? Like and a lot of learning, but with that, you know, things improved, man. You know, understanding of story, understanding of process, and like I think you can have the best script in the world and you can have the best art, but if there's no flow and story, man, and you know, like thing happening, you know what I mean? Like you're in trouble.
Which is the beauty of comics. Like you don't need high detailed art to tell a story. You can do it very simply, very basically, and as long as it gets the idea across, it's functional. So
yeah, man, that's the beauty of the medium, mate. You know what I mean? You can do it as simple as you want, or you can do it as complex as you want. It's entirely up to you. But there's no right or wrong way either, you know. Like
there's a right way to execute something that's going to work for the story. So if you go into a certain approach visually, or you go into a certain approach tangibly of the narrative or something like that, and it doesn't work for what the story's trying to tell or do, sometimes it'll clash. Like there's a whole lot of, I was trying to think for an example. So if you go for like the house styles, so the house styles of art, say for Top Cow, and you look at something like Midnight Nation, maybe, where it's more of it feels like a house style, but the story is very more left field, more of a darker sort of story, and it kind of clashes. And you usually see it a lot in US stuff, where the house styles sort of clash whatever the narrative is that's selling.
Yeah, I guess so. In terms of like you're talking in terms of like a creative partnership, like in terms of like a collaboration between a writer and an artist in that regard, like and how they can
sometimes the matches don't always work with the execution that they're going for. Or, they're tied down with something. I can't think what the word is for it. There's probably a word for it, but
probably I don't know, man. Like I've only ever really done a couple of collaborations, man.
There he is. There's Alex.
Get some attention, Alex. Go back and rewatch the show. You've been set a challenge, mate. Get him on Drink and Draw. There you go. You can, I'm sure Hayden would love to. You know, like we'll talk about that later with Sis. But I'm. I haven't done too many collaborations, man. Like I've done a fair bit of drawing and stuff like Ryan Bella and Spedsy and Ben Sullivan and with my mate Peter Wilson and stuff. But I've just predominantly learnt myself. Like I know what you're saying. I mean, you can see when something's not working. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know, dude. Like I'll come back to you, Shanche. Just give me 1 second to finish this thought, and
I think you should experiment with doing someone else's script, because you'll see how they'll think. And I've noticed that there's a different way they'll think visually too. So if someone's coming from more of a prose perspective, the panels will be jumping more, or be more text heavy when it comes to dialogue, and be more exposition. Or if someone's a bit more of an artist writing it, then you'll find that it's more action on the page. Or if they're a novice, you'll find that, the panel's got like 5 different actions occurring in one panel. It's like, okay, this is 4 or 5 panels. I'm going to break it down now and try and make sure it flows okay.
Yeah. Well, I found the best way around that, my collaborations, man, was to do thumbnails. That's how I sort of started to do those more detailed thumbnails. So before I just dropped an A3 sheet, like onto the person I was writing for, you know what I mean? Like I was like, this is what I'm thinking. Is this what you're, like, and then talk, you know what I mean? Like communicate. Let's just do this and that. But you're going to have to, so it's communication, I guess, too, man. But, everyone's different. But look, Hayden, I basically, man, again, everyone's different. I just think you should have fun and you learn while you're having fun. And if if it hits the
well, if
mark.
you're going to spend this time drawing, smiley faces and squares, got to have fun with it at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure, man. I agree. We'll get back to Shanche's comment, please, Sis, if we can. I don't want to omit that. The great thing about that journey is that everyone has their own process. So by trying all of them, you can find the bits and pieces that work for you and then build your own process. And that's exactly it, man. What works for one doesn't for the other. And you find little bits and pieces and you learn along the way.
And don't be afraid to play around with different things. Doesn't always have to work. No one has to ever see it.
Well, that's exactly right too. There's probably, man, how many pages you reckon you got that no one's ever seen? Like lots and lots.
It's probably a couple hundred early stuff. Pretty much everything I've done since I started has been published. I think it's maybe 20 or 30 pages. Yeah, pretty much everything since I started. So from Billy onwards, pretty much everything's seen print, apart from a couple of backlog projects that haven't gone out yet. So there's a couple of short stories with Emmett Okawana, which haven't gone out. There's a couple of Jason Franks, which haven't popped up anywhere yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the stuff I've done sort of seen a light of day somewhere. I've kind of made sure of that. Like, there's no point. It's art. If you're going to put something out there, it's got to be viewed, good or bad. So it's all part of the journey as well. Like, I'm learning how to draw in the public space when it comes to this sort of stuff, but I'm also lucky in the case that it's a very small demographic looking at it. So if I fuck something up, it doesn't really matter too much. It's not really going out worldwide to have everyone nitpick it. So so with that, let's go back to that thought, because that's a cool thought you just had. So your intentions are, when you start something, it's going to get out there. Yeah.
When you choose a project, like with other people, like you were saying, do you accept those projects on the value of the energy that is you're getting, or is it more of a case of, I like it? Is that going to get into print? Because if I put this work in, it's getting into print. It's not sitting on the shelf. Like, what's the driving force there?
If I like the person who's pitching it to me, and it's something I can think it's the right time, it's some fun, I can experiment with or do something with, then usually I'll go, okay, why not give it a go?
Yeah. And
there's a couple of writers I'll happily work with many times over.
Yep.
They just don't write as often as they should be to do that. So, but yeah, like, it's one of those things where I don't play well with other people when it comes creatively, because I tend to have an idea which direction things are going in, or which way to go. And then, I know working with someone else in that regard, it's more of a partnership. So it's to and fro. So here's the idea, here's the direction, which way do we go with it? And I think I haven't really done that too much on the larger projects, because it railroads me when it comes to getting stuff done. If I've got to bounce off someone else to get something out, it just frustrates me, because they always take too long and I need to get it done, or need to move forward essentially on it. So,
so you won't pencil down for like a day waiting for a reply. You want that reply bang now, like ready to roll.
I work full time, so I've got windows to get stuff done in a week. And if I'm doing a 24-page comic, like, okay, that's going to take me, if I'm not doing anything else, then it's 3 pages a week. What's that work out to? 8 weeks, so 2 months. And then I'll probably get tennis elbow again doing that, so I won't do it.
Man, you're flying, doing 3 pages a week. Like you're A3, like size, or you? No, a Utide Flame was A3. COBBER was A3. Darkest Night was A3. Billy was A4, and Bristlemouth was actually some weird size. It's above Digest, so I can't think of the dimensions. Wow.
But it's actually, it's not as big as A3, it's not as small as A4, and it's sort of in between. And then for the scaling on it to US standard, I think it was like 20% reduction or something. So
right. Okay. So that's
the small pages obviously you can do quicker. So
for sure. It's mate, I did a
here's a question for you. How long does it take you to do a page from concept to final?
Okay, from concept to like as in penciling like what I showed you before, and then inking it from start to finish, I'd have to say how long is a piece of string, man. There's varying things that go into my process, I guess, of creating a page. I don't do deadlines. I worked that out a long time ago that doesn't work for me. So that I can't get out of a page.
What's the Douglas Adams quote? I love deadlines. I love the sound they make as they go whooshing past.
Yes, yeah. Well, dude, when I talk about joy of creating the pages, I'm quite legitimate with that, because it's like creativity and drawing has actually like legitimately, and I'm not bullshitting you, like saved my life. If I didn't have it, I'd be dead, and due to circumstances. So I don't rush it. And if other people want me to rush it, then it's not happening. So we've already come to an impasse. So I enjoy working with other people, but I'm also an independent creator for that understanding that, like I'm not going to ever have someone go, hey man, let's do a comic for Marvel. You can have as long as you want. Okay, sweet. Like, so this is just the lane I've chosen, because I just choose to get something different out of it. So my pages, I like to pencil, but my love is ink, and I love black and white. So my inking is like painting, because I love to paint, and I can't paint when I'm drawing. So I had to bring the two of them together, and that's what I do. So I layer. I just start off with pencils and then ink lines, outlines, add black, and gray shades, and like get dark, and then I look at things, white out, sprays, splashes, until I feel like things are happening. And then there's something, I don't know, man. I don't know why. Just I get to a point and it's just like, that's done. And then I move that page over. And I tell you, because that little alarm bell in me tells me when it's not done, and when I've given up early.
Is it done, or is it abandoned?
Early, man, I hate it. It's like I hate that drawing, but so I wait for the bell, like the internal bell that tells me, like, it's done, and I put it aside and I'll leave it, and whatever's there is there. And I just judge my style stuff on that, man. So some pages can take. Look, hang on. Look, well, I'll show you. I'll give you an idea. Says bring this up for a tick, bud, and I'll show Hayden that. Now that there, man, are two separate A3 pages. So let's focus on.
Wow. Okay. I can feel the RSI just looking at it.
Yeah. Well, both of those two pages probably. If I was to sit in here, I usually sit. Come down here at 5 o'clock for my AM in the most mornings. Like that one there. That's a splash page. That's probably about 3 days worth of work, man. Getting up, walking away, coming back, looking, having a cigarette, shaping, like splashing, fiddling. Yeah, that's just, so I can't really tell you. It's just, that's my process. But yeah, so that's what I mean, is like everyone's different, man. So it's like,
I don't think I'd ever have the patience to do anything like that. I'd probably go crazy.
That's okay. Like, that's cool, man. Like, I don't judge anyone, man. Like, creativity is a beautiful thing, man. Like, that's why I'm sitting here and like marvel of you, like going like, my God, you can belt out 3 pages, like in a week. Because it's like,
well, that was, it was probably the max. Oh no, it waxes and wanes depending on what else I'm doing and how busy it is and what the page is like. But yeah, I think COBBER worked out about roughly that. So.
Yeah, that's still amazing work, man. Like amazingly quick, like, and high quality too, man. Your stuff.
That's
no. Look, I like it, dude. Like I like it because, as I said to you, man, like I do. Like I'm not always on socials and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I try and stay off socials as best I can, but majority of the things that I look at are people's artwork and stuff, and like you came back onto my radar after I was chatting on a Chinwag with Chris Sequeira last year, and he was talking to me about you were coming up with a project and stuff like that. So in my mind, I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on Hayden Fryer. He's on my radar. I want to, like check it out.
Well, I hope you bought BRISTLEMOUth because it's in stores now.
Yeah, beautiful. And I tell you what, while you're plugging it, where can you get it, mate, for everyone that's at home?
all good comic shops?
That's a good answer. So that's and if it's not the comic shops,
you can definitely get it from All Star in Melbourne, D's in Canberra, as long as they're I think they're still good for this month. Impact have it as well. I believe Alternative Worlds have it. The comic shop in Liverpool, if you're in New South Wales. I don't know who is in Queensland these days, shop-wise.
Comics Etc. is in Brisbane, I think. That's the one. I think that might be the only one open in Brisbane. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's in the Brisbane city on Elizabeth Street.
I'm not too sure in Brisbane. I don't know who's in Western Australia these days. I don't know if Greenlight is stocking it down in Adelaide or not. But, you can Google it.
Yeah. Google is your friend, like they say. You can't find anything on Google. But mate, no, that's why.
Chris was fantastic as well. So Chris, how do I phrase it? Chris has been a fan since Darkest Night and has been hounding me for a while for something to sort of take and run with. And I think he was very gleefully happy with Bristlemouth because it sort of ticked all the boxes for him. So
yeah. Well, he likes that sort of theme from my conversation with him too. A little bit of horror, a little bit of what he was looking for with those the new. I can never remember the name. Here we go. This is terrible, isn't it? What's the name of the imprint, the company, the
IPI Comics?
IPI, that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're subsidiary of IFWG Publishing.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So everyone check that out too. So because there's some other stuff coming up as well. There's like the Human Flyers coming out, and
they just released issue 0 of that. I think the main series launches in August or something. They've got Queenie Chan's The Dreaming re-release. I think there's a new chapter dropping of that. They just announced, I think Dark Detective's coming back. So there's a whole stack of stuff that's lined up as well. I think next year.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I wish they keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, that's
and also
good.
to buy stuff now from too, because you need Bristlemouth.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
and that's what we're trying to encourage here, man, is to get your new stuff out, to new viewers, man. Past, future, and present. Because that's it's all about promoting comics, man. Because regardless of which angle you're coming at them from, man, we all share the same love. So it's got to spread that love, man. And
which is one thing I love about Australian comics is that there is so many different angles of approach with it, and so many different cliques doing different things in different pockets, and people just don't talk to each other. But man, there is so much random stuff out there that you can find if you go digging for it. And there's enclaves, like stuff like the Fatsville guys working out of Queensland, where you are. Yeah. There was the Silent Enemy guys, I think, out of Melbourne, possibly. New South Wales always gets a short end of the stick with those sort of conglomerates. I think we're just probably too separated. All wankers.
No, man. A lot of my family comes from down there. The fourth monkey. I'll be using the Google to find your stuff. Good on you, Stu. Stu's a champion. And everyone, while Stu's up, through ComX in July, Outlaw, Stu's first comic books are coming out. So congratulations, Stu. For when
is that the one with the Ned Kelly helmet and the bang, 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 bang?
Yeah, man. Looks it's a little bit like that. So yeah. It's like the story is to unfold, mate. And so let people go out and enjoy it.
All good stories do.
That's exactly right, Hayden. And the beautiful thing is, Hayden, is Stu's got a lovely story, man. He's Bristlemouth will be in the ComX shop soon. IPI rocks. There you go, sis. So everyone out there, and Hayden, for future reference, Bristlemouth will be in the ComX shop.
Well, there we go. Keep an eye on the ComX store.
Boom, boom.
A little bit of house advertising.
Hang on cue, mate. Look at that. It's like magic, But and then I'll drop off the internet again, and you'll be left by yourself. And then I'll, so let's not hope for that much magic. But
I'll start a different stream at that point. So.
Fair cool.
Is there a direct competitor? There's probably a direct competitor somewhere, right?
Who knows? I don't know. There's probably someone out there, in terms of live streaming, I don't know. But if I was going to directly compete with Chinwag,
it's probably someone from Melbourne. They've always got somebody that competes.
What would you call a competitive show, like the gas bagger, or like something like that? who knows? Putting ideas out there,
What was Eddie Campbell's phrase for a bunch of graphic novelists? A whinge. Is that right? Can someone correct me on that? Was it a whinge?
Yeah, no, I can't. But like I come across a lot of people that tend to do a lot of that, man. So like my whole idea is to just try and steer like as far away from negativity as I can. And all that sort of stuff, I find whinging about as enjoyable as listening to people tell me how much money they've made on their last house sale, mate. I feel like living well to live. So it's you guys I'm married 25. Anyway, it's that's my.
Is that where that's where you're up in the self-solitary?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And Jeffrey, the comic pickler. Oh, Jeffrey, that's a good one. Like you can marinate. All those things that we talked about earlier. And if anyone missed that, you can watch that for the first hour and 15 minutes. Or so.
You skip the first hour, I think.
Yeah. And it was segued by me disappearing into the ether and then coming back, and then we started talking about good stuff. How long ago did you do BRISTLEMOUTH? You said like you were doing 2 jobs. Like Chris came to you. Did he approach you because he was a fan and then wanted it? You were saying, and then you had to go back. You had to re-edit it. Like you obviously
I can't remember how we got on the conversation of it. I know he had been actually. He might have. Yeah, I can't remember how it worked out. I know he read Darkest Night when it first came out, and he's been a pretty vocal supporter of that. And I think it must have just scratched the right spot for him. Cool. I think he's always been curious to see what I've been working on and know what's there. And BRISTLEMOUTH kind of hit, like I said, ticked all the boxes for him, and it worked well with the company that what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I got across the line. So the project was probably, I think I broke it like 5 years back. The script was probably about 1.5 years to get it to the point where I'd start drawing it. I think I'd spent about 1.5 years drawing it. So it was actually being drawn during that COVID lockdown period. Yeah. So that whole scene in the around the campfire I was talking about earlier was actually drawn in the middle of lockdown. I think it's like a 14-page sequence or something, and I was going nuts doing it. And then, I think that was pitched and accepted a couple of years back. It was on the burner until they set everything up, and then it was obviously one of the worst ones to go out of the gate with Superhumanity. So
yeah. Have you been to any of the because like I'm assuming your promo photo that you use to let's like, because people have sent like photos to put on the banner of Chinwag before, and yours is an outstanding black and white profile pic, man, that I have to say was very, very well done. Very, like in a
thank you. It was a complete selfie.
Very Macbeth.
Yeah, the selfie was like, just get that shot there. That works. I'll work with that for the next 10 years.
Beautiful. So with that, and you said at the time when you sent it through to me, you said, I'll send you the one that I always use. So obviously you've done some work around like over the years you've been around, and now comic book conventions, you're regular at the conventions and you get around, or you're a little bit more internal, and don't tend to go out into the convention scenes and stuff like that?
I was for a long time. So from like 2004 through to about, I think 18, I was doing Sydney conventions pretty consistently. I was up and down the seaboard doing some Melbourne ones and Queensland ones. To the point where a few friends actually think I live in Queensland because they used to see me in Queensland.
That often, man.
Whenever I run into them now, it's like, oh, you're in Queensland. I'm like, yeah, no, never. But so I was doing all those ones on the eastern seaboard. Yeah, we're eastern, aren't we? Yeah. So I was bouncing up between them for a good 10, 15 years. I got the absolute shits with the larger conventions just because the costs were they're ridiculous for a self-publisher. Like you can't make a return on the overheads anymore. And just the costs to even just exhibit is just a nightmare. And comics really aren't the focus of most of those larger events. So after COBBER finished up, I kind of packed it up and just stuck with the smaller events. And that's where all the library events kicked off. So Comic Conversation, Comic Gong down in Wollongong. So the librarians are fantastic. If you ever get to do an event with any librarians, they're great. They're lovely. They will give you tea. They give you space. They let you run workshops. Like, yeah, they're absolutely fantastic, and they run fantastic services as well, which I can never really sort of. Well, you can't appreciate it enough what they actually do. So
yeah.
there's my
I
pitch to
like
librarians.
Yeah, man, that is cool. I like because you do see on socials there's a lot of things happening at libraries and that around too. You know, like whether it's people
and
going and or Dylan Naylor does it, Peter Wilson does it. Like there's so many people that go. Dean Rankin does it at schools too. Goes and shows people talks to kids and things like
it's
that.
Like stuff like the books in
man.
homes as well, where they'll go out to all the schools and give them like workshops or presentations, and then hand out books to all the kids, like that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
I love all those sort of satellite events and those sort of satellite things. Yeah, it's the grounds like you get. It feels like more on the ground sort of situations, and I've always sort of looked at those sort of opportunities. So stuff like, well, I sponsored Trashorama for a few years as well, which Google Trashorama. It's fantastic, but it's very much a scene, and I was looking for opportunities like that when I was doing Billy. So
gotcha.
And the zine fairs, I haven't done them for a few years because I feel a little bit out of place these days, but early on the zine fairs felt like a small community. There was a lot going on in the 2000s, like Newcastle, Sydney, etc. So I've done a lot of small satellite events over the years.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm going to come to your mate here, Alex, Sloppy Tunes, Mr. Major. Hayden could make his money back if he just sold single panel cut and paste a panel for 30 pages and sell that book for $30 a pop.
Okay, so there's two jokes to this.
Story here is there.
If you're friends with me on Facebook, I don't know if the album's still sitting there, but there's an album called Snail. And it's about 20 pages, because I never actually finished the damn thing, of a snail making his journey through a flower. And it's pretty much that. Yeah. Now, Alex's version of it was this fantastic book he did for Supernova, I don't know, years back. His stand was newspapered, top to bottom. He had red paint and just "Buy My Comics" splattered across the damn thing. And he's on his table, he had this one comic, I think it was like a little DL size sort of thing. And it was the same image, the two characters, for about 20 pages, whatever it is. Alex will probably question it. And the last page is, I can't believe this guy just paid, $5 or $10 for this. And he sold out of the damn things. And he sold the last one for, what was it, like $100, $150 to some schmuck.
Well, we got the man in the background, so maybe he can answer that. But that sounds like a very, very Alex thing to do, because
it is. Yeah, it was a learning experience that year, being next to him on the convention floor.
yeah, it would have been. It would have. Did you ever meet him before that? Like, was that one of those like, who is this guy? Like, and then you're great mates by the end of it. Like sort of.
No, Alex has been in the scene. Well, apparently he's been in the scene as long as I have. I thought he's actually been in the scene longer, but apparently he's started like 2000 or something. Yeah, I thought it was late 90s too. Yeah, he corrected me on it when I saw him a couple of weeks back. So you can probably type it in here. What year is it, Alex?
Yeah, it was late 90s, wasn't it, Alex? If you're up there, so
if you can remember, I know you're pretty old now, so.
Nah, he'll remember.
But yeah,
don't
get
him talking, mate, or we'll have like it'll just like coming through, because it's like.
I know. Can you type that fast? Here's a 2-finger typewriter.
Dude, have you ever text messaged him? It's like, my God, just to say, hey, go on, mate, to get a small, I'm good, thank you. But it's like, man, he texts just as much as he talks. It's like, wow, this dude's a communicator. Yeah, no, good dude, man. He makes me laugh, that fella.
But yeah, there was back in the 2000s, there was 2 forums where a bunch of the community had sort of congregated.
Yep.
50. Oh, well, I'm overinflating the story.
Sounds better, overinflated.
Yeah, so back in the 2000s, there was a couple of different forums. I think there was the Oz Comics one, and then the Comics Australia one. Yep. They end up, I think everyone sort of migrated to the Pulp Faction one for a while, and there was a pretty close-knit scene at the time. I don't know how many of the people were still sort of operating. Some went pro, some didn't. Yep. Some just realized the futility of comics and then went on elsewhere with their lives. So I've known Alex, since then. Oh, see, 99.
99. Thank you, Alex.
You old man. So, 25 years ago.
Yeah. Hey, we're all getting there, you know.
So
back to the story.
We got distracted.
We were talking about internet people realizing, you know, that the comics, they didn't want to do it, and you know, they went, you know, somewhere else, and you know.
Yeah, which is the like, I mean, I get it. Like I've seen a lot of people sort of burn through the scene with a big, brilliant idea, realize they've actually got to do work, and then, you know, disappear again. Yeah. And there's a few people who sort of drift in and out or stayed in scene pretty regularly for the last 20 years that I've been in it. And yeah, Alex is one of them who sort of disappears for a bit, comes back, and he's always an experience whenever he's around. So
yeah, he's good. Shionche, did anyone
No,
get upset?
they laughed. Every time someone picked up the damn book, they laughed and gave him money.
There you go, Shionche.
I mean, it could have been like embezzling for all I know. Maybe it's money laundering.
Yeah, but but you know what that is? It's a great idea, man. Just the whole concept of, I could, like, really, it is. And Alex, I know you're listening, you know, like, it's pretty genius just to bang up newspaper on your booth, you know, like, and paint, you know, buy my comics on it and stuff. You know, like, if no one had ever thought about that before, that certainly would have caught attention. And that's, you know, directing people towards you, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, people at the time might have thought, man, what's this, you know, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's, I kind of learned a lesson from Alex and Paul Abstruse, where it's a case of go bold where you can.
Yeah.
Go bold, go loud. And obviously I'm not very loud.
Yeah, no, but mate, that's all right. Like, you know, you find your way. I mean, you found your way. I mean, God, you know, like, you're successul. You've been doing it for 20 years. And, you know, again, no, look, success is
consistent.
Are you happy with your successful consistency at this stage? Like, you're happy with?
Yeah, successfully consistent. That's definitely a term.
Yeah. No,
I remember getting called stalwart like 10 years ago. So I still don't know if that was an insult or a compliment.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, who knows? It's for you to decipher that one. But no, man, I think sometimes you do have to be, you know, like,
a little bit crazy.
Yeah, you do have to be. I often wonder, you know, like, because you know, like, it took me a while because I was getting sober and that between my last comic and this comic that's coming out, and you go through your ups and downs, and you do things, and it was hard, like, just hard to get my head together and get my head around a long mission, and then when I did it, and I got the proof back in my mind, I was like, that's it. I'm having some time off. You know, and then, you know what I did on the weekend, mate? I sat in here for 4 days, thumbnailing the next issue. And I was sitting here going, I must be mad. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess you do have to have a little bit of that.
It's one thing I've always found, like, if everything else around me is going to shit and I've got a project to work on, it's a stable bit of ground while the whirlwind's going on around you.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Yeah, I've always found that while working on a project, which is, you know, it's good or bad. You get you get tunnel vision, working on it, but then it'll get you through some dark points when you've got something to focus on that's not the shit going on around you. So
yeah, that's you know, that's one of the things that Chinwag I like to focus on is the creative side, man, because it's good for, you know, mental health wise too, because it's like you can't really control every circumstance of your life, you know what I mean? And things are going to,
it can be a bit of a tightrope on how you deal with it using it that way. So if you're you can fall off the rope easily, but then on the same token, it can give you a guiding light through some circumstances if it's there. So
yeah, well, it did for me, dude. So but it always has
comics.
It is the magic of comics, man. And whoever would have thought, hey, you know, like, and the, you know, like, the thing that I marvel at too is, from having done so many of these Chinwags now, is like how everything is like interconnected in its way. You know, like, I could be talking to someone, you know, like I am with you now, and Alex, who I've known for quite a while now and mates with, has known you for 20, and then you've had an official crossover with Darren Close's Killaroo, and a short story in Gang Wars back in 2011 or 12 was the first comic that I did, and then there's like there's just it's amazing. Like
here's some controversy. There is actually, I did actually do a Gang Wars script, but it was never drawn. Here's a bit of a spoiler. Oh. There is I did do a Gang Wars script, but yeah, it's never been drawn. So. And
were you to draw it?
No. Fuck no. There's a lot of cars in the damn thing. They ain't drawing that crap.
Yeah. It's what is it about cars and motorbikes, man? Like
and horses, goddamn horses.
Those legs
they don't make sense. They go the wrong direction.
Yeah. I hit one of those marks last year. I never really pursued it, but in the back of my mind, being a big 2000 AD fan, I always just wanted to do a short story in a UK published comic book. You know what I mean? That's just one of those things if it pops up, like, yeah, I'll do it if I like it. And I got to do it. And, like everything was cool. And there was this big scene of like horses. And you know what? Mate, there was plenty of tree leaves in front of those horses. and horses from behind running down hills. Yeah, I don't like drawing horses much either. But like that's what like. But these are the funny things you think about too. Like you take it on and you go, oh god, like. But room for improvement, man, is animals. So it's for me, like they're things that I know. As you draw and stuff, like you were saying earlier, you like to improve on things. That's definitely something I need to improve on. Is like gated animals, like and how they move and their way of going. Because how I got around that in my comic books was just to like make them cybernetic animals, man. You know what I mean? Like
you're always looking for shortcuts to make it easier on yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing better than a shortcut, mate. Like, whoo, like save me some time. Not much, but plenty of time. Yeah. So, all right, man. What do you got coming up in the future after BRISTLEMOUTH's out? And that's already out. That'll be at the Comics shop coming up soon. You've got now. We weren't. If they. BRISTLEMOUTH is at the Comics shop, but your other stuff, if you've got any of it left, do you have a website or a Facebook page, and you've got your Google Drive thing that people can get some of your images and that on, and your comic books?
So the official site's CyberianProductions.com.
Okay.
I've been meaning to relabel, rebrand, and it just never happened. So I guess I'm stuck with it.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram, so Hayden Fryer Creative. Usually it's the sketches, just whatever the hell I'm doing at the time. Usually some promo. I am on Twitter, usually just ranting, same with Blue Sky. And you can find me, there is a Facebook page, but I don't really maintain it because no one really looks at it. I think the Billy one might be still active. So.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Oh, all right, we'll check that out. Like everyone out there, check it out. Go and give him a like and subscribe and that. So, mate, as we wind down, now everyone knows where you're at. Everyone knows about BRISTLEMOUTH and everyone knows about IPI Comics. And there you go, everyone on there. It's the Instagram.com Hayden Fryer Creative for the Instagram link, address, whatever they call it. Jump on that, like, follow, blah, blah. What I marvel at is who's the dude in Hayden's profile pic. Who is that dude in Hayden's profile pic? The man that took the selfie himself,
That's like that John Pickle guy, isn't it?
Yeah, John Pickle. Like, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I mean.
Back in his modeling days.
And like, I liked it, I was like, man, that's some cool stuff there.
So arty. It's like an artist did it.
Man, I was like, he's really put some thought into this. And then he blew me out of the water. I was like, damn, he really gave it a crack.
So good, I kept it for 10 years.
Yeah, because I didn't want to do another one. Yeah, man.
Pretty much.
Hey, you're on a winner there, Hayden. That's the main thing. Now, Hayden, as we wind down the show, bud, one thing I do like to you know, we've established that you've been around for a long time. We've established that you now have broken the record of more pickles in a chinwag than Alex Major, otherwise known as Sloppy Tunes for the viewers.
Suck it, Alex. Suck a pickle.
There, Alex.
Suck a deep fried. No, a air fried pickle that might explode on you.
There you go, Alex. You've been challenged, man. Let us know how that goes, or draw a cartoon. Now,
you had to prompt him on that, didn't you?
Yeah.
He's probably drawing the damn thing.
He probably is now. Now we know that Billy Demon Slayer is Billy Demon Slayer, and that it irks you when there's a "the" involved in it. So for everyone out there, it is Billy Demon Slayer, which was Hayden's first work, and Hayden's been pounding away for many years doing these comic books. He's available on socials. He's a nice cheeky fella that's got plenty of life in him, and he's getting better and better, and lovely patient dude putting up with me dropping out too. Been wasting time.
I think that's just jerky, Alex.
Deep fried pickle. There you go.
That's just a bit of jerky found on the side of the road.
I'm drawing a monkey eating a peanut for your information. Okay. So there we go. I'm waiting to see.
It's a normal Tuesday night for you, huh?
Well, man, you know, Tuesdays are pretty weird around comics, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, we all like Tuesdays. So, you know, Tuesday's a good day. Now, Hayden, if you were sitting down and, you know, at a convention and you were you right now, old Hayden, yeah, not saying that you're old, but in comparison to the question, you'll understand in a second. I'll dig myself out of this hole. What would old Hayden say to young Hayden if young Hayden walked up to old Hayden and said, "How do I get there?"
You mean after the freaking out of why the fuck am I looking at myself?
Yeah.
Fucking quit, you idiot. Go do something else.
That's what you'd say?
Oh, sorry. Did you want something more serious?
Oh.
Get a vocation. Go get a real job. Go get a trade. Get a trade. Go get a real job out there. Go do some manual labor. Go work in a factory.
I don't want someone to come along and, you know, like be, you know, like, you know, like I want them to be.
Join the damn circus. You should join the circus. Join the circus. Become a trapeze artist. You know, really get into the clowning around part of things.
Because you got to have fun, though.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, you got to have fun. But you look like you've had fun, mate. You look like you're still having fun. So
occasionally.
yeah. Oh, I reckon a bit more than occasionally, but so it's that's good.
I know the comics are very serious these days. I really got to do something more fun. So.
What makes comics serious for you these days?
Probably the themes, actually. Really got to get back to just telling jokes again. So.
And that's your themes, like what you're doing, or is that comics in general you find like worldwide?
Suddenly I feel like I'm in therapy. Probably just the existential dread of every single thing I put out. I mean, really, you could dig into it, right?
Yeah.
On the page, it's just existential dread everywhere.
Yeah, but that's good. Like I like existential dread. You know, that shows you care in your creation.
Yeah. Well, it's you know, the whole being mature and finding a theme in the story and all that sort of jazz. I know I kind of miss just, you know, the nothing serious stuff. I mean, it's crap, but man, it was so much fun just putting bullshit onto the page that, yeah, there's less considerations and seriousness involved, and it's a lot more freeballing, I guess.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you're seeing yourself because you've had too many pickles. I suspect that may be the case. You know, those pickles can get to you after a while. You know, it might be all the.
All right. If we drag it for 2 hours, how many more pickles can I get into the conversation?
Yeah, no. I think we're pickle juiced, man. You know, so
we could always go for more pickles.
Well, we could
get a whole bunch more jars of pickles.
Yeah. No, I think we've probably got the entire state of Queensland's Woolworths stock.
You know what? Have you seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
A very long time ago.
That, but with pickles.
So Attack of the Killer Pickles. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
It's pretty good.
I'll be the ideas man. You can create the comic. I'll be the ideas man. Take the credit.
Yeah.
And if I use a pseudonym, I'll just call it John Pickles. Idea by John Pickles. Attack of the Killer Pickles.
Yeah, except I'd take artistic ownership, and I'd Attack of the Killer Pickles would be my cat that is passed on, rolling around in a stewed jar, barking orders at other pickles. She could be Queen Pickle. So how's that? Queen. Yeah, I think I like it. Oh, Alec, and Shane's onto it there too. God, look at what's happening on Chinwag tonight.
There's going to be a whole pickle series coming out now.
Oh my lord, it's definitely a pickles.
The anthology of pickles.
Yeah. John Che, need to take up a hobby, maybe stand-up comedy.
People be throwing pickles at me the whole freaking time,
Yeah.
You make one bad crack about a pickle, and suddenly there's a whole bunch of pickles being thrown at you.
Yeah. I'm starting a new series of comfort comics because everything I work on is kind of a downer lately.
Does it involve killer pickles? It's going to involve killer pickles. Nothing more comfortable than killer pickles.
Well, killer pickles could contend with, killer tomatoes. I mean, there's a whole world of things out there.
What are the licenses on killer tomatoes these days? There's like 5 films or something.
Yeah, no. I didn't know that.
The second one has George Clooney in it.
Yeah, I believe that. You got to start.
The second one's actually pretty good. The second one's fine. You know what? Here's my recommendation for everyone in comics land: go out and find Return of the Killer Tomatoes, and the sequel, whatever the other sequel is, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, or Attack of the Killer Tomatoes 2, or Escape of the Killer Tomatoes. Just Google Killer Tomatoes and go track them down.
I think you'll probably find they're streaming somewhere, man. It's amazing what you can find on those classic.
I know I think the first one's on Tubi, but I don't know if the sequels are.
Yeah,
sequels are they're shrouded in mystery of tomatoes. Tomato.
Yeah. I look, to be honest with you, all the talk of pickles tonight, mate, I'm almost like vegetabled out, and I'm a vegetarian. So it's you've done your job on me there too, mate. You know what I mean? It's like I might have to starve myself for a couple of days, just be on water.
Yeah, you definitely have to change that safe word now.
Yeah, I may have to, but I won't. But actually, no, I'll see. Well, I'll keep everyone in suspense for next week. We'll see. But I probably won't.
So is that arch nemesis, is that a pickle or a killer pickle, or is it a jar of pickles?
Yet to be determined. Probably a farm full. Yet to be determined.
Worth of pickles to squeeze out of this. Can I squeeze a couple more pickles out of it?
We ain't doing it, Hayden. All right.
Come on, we can easily drag that for 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes of pickles. It's like a pickle countdown, the countdown of pickles.
All right, we're going to do a pickle countdown for 2 minutes to keep my lovely guest satisfied and to keep everyone...
send in your pickles. You got 2 minutes to send in a pickle. How many pickles can you get in? Just flood the chat with pickles.
You know what, mate? I'm going to let you, once we hit 2 hours, I'll take over. But between now and then, and everyone in the comments section, flood us with pickles. Come on, see how many sentences you can add to pickles. Go on, Hayden. You're off.
I want to see this. Yeah, let it rip with the pickle Armageddon. Pickles from the sky. Just revelations of pickles. So many pickles.
Keep going. You still got 1:15, mate. You wanted it.
No, I'm running out of pickle material here.
Mate, don't clam up now. You wanted 2 hours.
You're stressing me out here, man. I got picked from all these pickles to just run with pickle jokes. How many more pickles can I try and get out of this thing? Is the chat completely empty now? I reckon we probably cleared the whole house full of pickles. So
I don't know. Are you happy now?
15 seconds. Good? Lady Pickle Hub's good. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait until someone just posts a jar of pickles in the chat afterwards.
Very good. All right. Well, I'm going to pull her up. Thank you, Hayden.
Thank you for having me.
Tonight.
Thank you for the pickle chats.
Man. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's the lovely beauty of Chinwag, man. Is I never have any expectations of any of these episodes. I just come in and I like to see what happens. It's the fluidity of live streams, man. You know, like and just have fun. Find out about people.
Before we do go, if you do end up finding a way to archive this for future reference, I feel so sorry for anyone who's trying to do any sort of archival stuff and realizing they'll just spend 2 hours talking about pickles.
Yeah, well, luckily enough, mate, there was about 45 minutes to 50 minutes of comic books, man, and yeah, it does get archived. And the funny part is, but it even goes on Spotify, so you know you'll be known as the Pickle King, and that's just how it is. It's so there you go. All right, so Hayden, thank you for the last one. You just brought it home to 2 hours, so good on you, absinthe champion. You can take us home. All right, Hayden. So we've found out where you're at. We've found out where you can get your comic books. We've found out that BRISTLEMOUTH will be in the COMEX shop very soon. It's available at all good bookstores, comic book shops around Australia. Now, D's Comics in Canberra over the next month or this month is
I think they wrap up in August. So get in there.
Okay.
Tell Brendan you love him.
Yeah, well, they're still doing, from what I've seen, you may be better to explain this, they're still doing mail orders, but the shop front is closing down. So if people want to get in there, go and, give him a big send-off, man, and buy lots of comic books from him and stuff like that. And, do your best to support creators, shops, anywhere you can that, keep the comic book community running. And, on another note, as I thank Hayden once again, tonight's show was enjoyable. It was funny, and things happen, like live, internet going out and things. But one thing I forgot to tell you all last week is there's a new end to the show, and it's super important to me in particular and Shane. And we decided about a month ago that because obviously mental health is a huge issue for, everyone, but myself included, and Shane, we speak about it as often as we can on these shows. We reached out to Lifeline, and Lifeline have given us permission to put their phone numbers and contact details, etc., at the end of the show. Now, to anyone out there that is going through things, I have rung Lifeline at different times when things have been really bad at all hours of the day and night, just to have someone there on the other end of the phone just to pull me back out of that darkness. So please do not think there's anything silly about it, because some of those people helped me immensely and gave me tools to get through a night and to get through a day during my bad period. If you know someone that's going through a tough time, encourage them to reach out to people. Keep an eye on your brothers and sisters, because goddamn, man, world's hard. It's getting harder, and we just got to look after each other, because circumstances can change quick, and we're better off having support than to be left alone. So that's the beautiful thing about comics. That's the beautiful thing about the community. Keep an eye on everyone. Support each other. Have fun. Have a laugh. Be happy. That's the main thing. Find peace. All right, so after that, thank you very much for watching Tuesday Chinwag. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. Don't forget to like and subscribe the COMEX channel anywhere you can find it, particularly YouTube, Facebook. Help it grow. Go and support Hayden Fryer. Chinwag is and always will be made with love. Community is unity. And have a very lovely evening. Thank you.
And long live pickles.
There you go.
This show is sponsored by the Comics Shop. Check out over to comics.shop to pick up a variety of Australian comics from multiple creators and publishers, all for one flat postage rate. We hope you enjoyed the show.